Welcome in. It's the PAWSitively Petland Show, AM 800 KXIC. I'm Jay Capron. I hope you're doing well as we get you going. Maybe you're listening to the podcast. That's cool. Maybe you're listening on Sunday. That's cool, too. If you're listening Sunday, 9 a.m. here on KXIC. Ron Salzer's here with Petland of Iowa City. Ron, how are things going?
Life is beautiful.
Busy at the store, right?
Busy at the store. We've got more people, more
new
customer
faces.
Service. I love it.
That's good. And we talked when we were on the air about some of the training and how you guys, it is demanding, right, to get through the training program. But once you do, you're ready to go. And you think you have a good recipe for success there, huh?
Yeah. We've definitely changed up how we train people in the store to know, how we do things as fast as possible. But with 9,000 different products in the store and, over 50 different breeds to learn, it just is overwhelming. And so we splash you into it. We kind of, put you right in on the spot, and it's you figure it out as you go. There's a lot of pre-training that we do with videos and reading, but there's nothing like conversing with the public and the customers and having fun with them and understanding how to do all that.
I love it. So get those, if you're looking for a job, that's one of the things we mentioned too, is don't be shy. Stop by Petland of Iowa City. They are hiring if you fit their profile, and you might even get yourself an interview, and you might have a brand new job there at Petland of Iowa City. So wanted to mention that as we get started and get things going. Today, we're going to have the amazing pet story of the week, as we always do. We are also going to have the breed of the week, which this week is the Shih Tzu. So we're going to talk about that. All you Shih Tzu owners out there, listen closely, because we're going to talk about your dog and give you the spotlight today. So looking forward to that. And also this morning, we're going to talk about
what to be doing training. So those basic training of sit, stay, come, we're going to go through that and learn how to enjoy your dog even more by getting engaged with your dog. And if you've got children, they are going to love this.
Okay, and for dogs and cats. So we'll do that. And then you are going to feature another food this week, right?
Yes, Canidae.
Canidae. So that's what we have on the docket here today as we get going with the PAWSitively Petland Show. I'm Jay Capron. That is Ron Salzroot, owner of Petland of Iowa City. And we thank you for coming along. So thanks for listening to the Pet Show. It's always great to get on and talk pets. And right now we'll bring in Big Voice Guy. Big Voice Guy, where are you at? Oh, he's got his swimsuit on.
For the amazing pet story
He's headed out
of
to
the week.
Adventureland, he says. Okay. He's got his towel and his flip-flops. He's ready to go.
And his hairy chest.
Yes, very hairy chest. He looks like he's wearing a sweater. Thanks, Big Voice Guy. Appreciate that. And today our story is about Maya. Maya won the 2008 Dog of the Year, saving Angela Marcelino from a vicious male attacker. This dog's act of bravery earned some high praise from the American Miracle Foundation, and they were happy to report that the dog was fine after the incident, and the male attacker was taken into custody in that particular instance. So another good example of a dog protecting someone, and you don't mess with someone's dog, man. I'm telling you, they have that feeling. I've told this story before, I'm sure, on the show, but when I was a kid, my dog, I had a yellow lab that used to sleep on the end of my bed. And there was one night where my dad peeked in his head to check on me, and he didn't realize my dog didn't connect Bandit, didn't know that it was my dad at first. So he growled. He had the hair up on the back of his neck. And then my dad, I remember, because he flipped the light on, and he goes, "Wait, hey, it's me." And it woke me up, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And it was just proof once again that he was watching my back. So dogs, great companions, and some people train them to be a mean dog to protect you, though. Sometimes just the bark is enough to scare people off, right, Ron? I'm sure you have people that come, they like to get a bigger dog.
Right. Yeah. Well, when we're going through the different breeds with our customers, there's one aspect of a dog that they look at, and is what is the guardability of the dog. And so they have, it's the tendency to do that, and then the capability of the dog. And these little dogs, the tendency to do it, there's some of them that just have like 5 out of 5, they just want to get in there. But then capability, 1 out of 5.
With your little teeth.
So they're saying, the bark is usually worse than the bite. But that's, scare the people away. You know, if
even just the noise, though. I mean, if someone's creeping around your house,
right? Yeah,
I mean,
they don't want to mess with that.
Yeah, a lot of people, you know, those burglars, they always go for the easiest possible route.
I will say, though, we lived next to a sheriff when we were in Indiana, and he said the number from having any issue with your house is lock the doors.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was
it seems
his
so
number one.
simple, but there's so many people leave their garage doors open or unlocked, and cars. I know that you know, when those people are looking for change or things that you leave in your car, some people leave their computers or other things in their car, but they just walk around pulling handles and easiest access.
Right.
And so if you leave it open, so I guess some good a little PSA there is lock your doors. But of course, dogs are always great for protection as well. And they are part of your family. They have that secondary sense where they know something's wrong. If someone's not supposed to be where they're supposed to be, they have a tendency to know how to do that. So amazing pet story of the week. There you go. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and talk about the Shih Tzu. And we'll also talk about training and Canidae. That's all coming up here on KXIC. Stay tuned. AM 800 KXIC, Iowa City. It's the PAWSitively Petland Show. All right, and right back in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. It's the PAWSitively Petland Show. AM 800 KXIC. I'm Jay Capron. Ron Salzberg's here. He's with Petland of Iowa City, and we're waking you up, getting you up to date with the latest in the world of pets. We heard about Maya, who saved a woman from a male attacker. Talked a little bit about dogs being good for protection, and now it's time to talk about the Shih Tzu. As I looked through our music bed, I thought I had something here. I can't find it right now, but maybe I'll find it. But I know we had some kind of music from Asia in the past that I had used, because I think we've done this breed once before.
Yeah, you should have something.
So I probably have it somewhere. So I'll see if I can.
While you're doing that, I always like to pose the question: what do you think the word Shih Tzu means?
Oh, and I think I remembered that I didn't know. So
the lion.
That's right. That
a little Shih Tzu.
We'll do this again in a year, and I'll forget again. It's the lion.
I love that. That
it has a mane, though, right?
Right. It's purely looks, because the Shih Tzu is a sweet and playful breed for sure. It's nothing like a lion. It is related to the Lhasa Apso, the Tibetan mountain dog, and the Pekingese, and it comes from the Ming Dynasty. After reviewing these breeds for over the last 9 years, the Shih Tzu seems to be one of the oldest breeds out there. It goes back thousands of years, and it has always been bred as a pet. And that's what they were looking for, as opposed to the hunting characteristics. And I think if you looked at a Shih Tzu, you'd go, okay, I get it. Yeah, Shih Tzus, I don't think those guys can catch much of anything out there, especially with that long hair. So the Shih Tzu is a non-shedding breed. And if people talk with you about different breeds and, oh, this is hypoallergenic and all that kind of stuff, there is no such thing as a hypoallergenic dog. We all can have allergies to different things, and while there could be some allergens that could affect you with the Shih Tzu, but it tends to have less allergens. It is what we said, non-shedding. So what does that mean to you? Non-shedding means that you're going to have this guy groomed every 1 to 3 months, depending on what kind of cut you like that Shih Tzu to have. If you're good with the blade, this is a fun breed to work with. You can make it into a lion, all sorts of different things. With Susie, our little Maltese poodle, I would leave boots on her so that it looks like she was walking around with furry boots and stuff like that. So you can do a lot of fun things. The blade was taken away from me, so I'm not allowed to do that anymore. And so we do take Susie to the breeder. I have found that people will go, oh, I want less maintenance. I have found that non-shedding is not necessarily less maintenance. In fact, it's the other way around. Because you got to comb it. Usually, if it's longer, you got to use the blow dryer. all that kind of stuff. If you're looking for that low maintenance dog as far as the care goes, look for a small dog, short fur, which means it's going to be a shedding dog. But I have found those to be some of the easiest to care for dogs. So the Shih Tzu takes a little bit more on that, but you get what you put into it type thing. And so you can do some wonderful things with the Shih Tzu. The Shih Tzu tends to be, all dogs bark, I'm going to put that at the front end, but tends to be a pretty low barker in the big picture. You almost have to make them bark, kind of a thing. So it's a nice downhill slide as far as barking goes with a Shih Tzu. Then as far as trainability, nice trainability dog. Learns things fairly quickly as far as the patterns, potty issues, what we're going to talk about, the whole sit, stay, come type thing. They'll learn that fairly quickly. And then I just want to reiterate, it's a nice family dog as far as all that goes. At the shoulder and pounds, they're usually well under 20 pounds. So it tends to be a smaller dog, not a tiny dog. So this isn't one of those that you're going to necessarily trip over because you didn't see him or anything like that. Apartment dwellers, hey, this is a great dog for it's still a small enough dog for the apartment dwellers, condo dwellers out there. Will get most of the exercise it needs within the house itself, but will also like to go outdoors and be, fairly active, not overly active out there or anything like that. We talked about the grooming. Daily brushing is going to be needed because of if you keep a longer coat. And then, what we said at the beginning, easy on the allergies for those that have, suffer from that. I always say if that is a concern of yours, come into Petland, play with the dog. I always promote you to have it up around your neck and your face so that you get a healthy dose of all the allergens. If you do have a reaction, I go, don't worry about it. What we're going to do now is maybe over 24 hours, 48 hours. And then next time you come in, call ahead of time. We'll actually wash the dog because you'll know that if you've ever been in our store, the puppies are playing together. And so shedders are with non-shedders. And you might be experiencing an allergy of a different dog that just is on the Shih Tzu. And so we'll actually wash that puppy for you and make it so that, we can find out, is it allergy to the dog or was it allergy to a different dog in that kennel? So that is the Shih Tzu. What does it mean? What is Shih Tzu?
The lion.
The lion.
And you didn't have your headsets on, so you couldn't hear, but I had some really cool, it's called Shanghai Dawn, and it was a good tune that went right with the
right into
boom.
it.
Perfect. So there you go. That is the Shih Tzu, and you learned a little bit there today about the Shih Tzu, and we appreciate it. What colors are they?
They come in a variety of colors. Rarely are you going to see them in all white, but you'll see them in color. So white and brown, you'll see some brindles. They have colors that they call liver. I mean, it doesn't sound like an on the Shih Tzu. So it's a variety of colors that you can come up with the Shih Tzu.
Very good. And so we roll along here. Next topic is training. And so this is obviously a big part of what you do. And I know you have people that come to you all the time and they want help with training. They want to learn, how they can make their lives a little easier, and, can be very frustrating. I know a lot of people, they say they had it, they can't do it anymore. And then they get frustrated. They want to take their dog back. There's a lot of reasons training's important, and because they can, pets can really cause big problems in the family. So one of the big things you like to do is tell people some tips, and we're going to talk about that today. So specifically, I don't think you're going to talk like potty train, but you're talking about like how to sit, stay, that type of thing.
Right, because we did potty training. I think it was actually last week.
Yeah.
As far as training goes, you've had your Weimaraners, and how did training go for you over time? Was it something that you worked on with your dog? Because how old were you when you first got the Weimaraner?
25.
Did you have a dog growing up? Or
did my dogs to sit, to give paw, to lay down, and that was just about it. And I think that I pretty much did all those things with Slater, and stay, although that one didn't work as well. But so those are the basics. Sit was important because when he's a big dog, so if they're little kids or there's a reason that they come in, hey, sit, and then he would do it. So he was good with that. And I don't think I ever really wanted to get into rollover or some of the tricks or anything like that. So I just kind of taught them the basic stuff.
Right. And how young were you for your young, how
I was a little kid. I was like 10 years old, and
10 years old.
I helped train though.
Right. And you said that, I helped train. You were engaged with that dog.
I was, yeah.
And that's what we have found. I always tell the families out there, if you have children, you know how so many things that we get today, whether those electronic gadgets or whatever, they play with it, and then it gets boring, and all that. And this with a dog, it's something that is much more engaging, all funned up and then all worn out on, because you can engage them in training and other aspects of that dog's life. And now they can, they got their little buddy, they got their companion that they can relate with. And so children really love the training aspects of dogs because they get that companionship at a young age, and especially when they're going through those teenage years when it kind of gets tough for both the boys and the girls.
Sure.
Hey, having a dog that is well trained and will sit with you and all that kind of stuff is a great thing to have. And so that's why at a young age, I always say, hey, get them engaged with it. With all of the Petland puppies that go home, they actually go home with a DVD that goes into then online training that then continues on to, if you have further questions or further issues, you can go call the phone, you can come into the store. For those people that didn't get Petland puppies, we have a free puppy class for you on Sundays at 10:30. If you have training issues, come on in.
You don't even have to have gotten the puppy from Petland.
You did not have to do that. We love working with you because it's usually pretty simple stuff that we can, help you with. And
who knows, maybe you'll come back and get the food there and stuff.
Right. And that's what, that's, as a retailer, we want to be of service to you. And we know that you in turn will be a nice, loyal customer for us. And, it's a great symbiotic relationship. So for training, that's the baseline of why is it, for the children aspects, why it's important. Now, are you somebody with a dog that's just out of control? Holy cow, I just hate this dog because it just is always doing this or doing that. It's probably just trying to be engaged with you, and it has just found ways to push your buttons. And so another reason why training is important, and if you are one of those people, you can turn that situation around. Hey, I'll totally admit, Callie was fairly easy to train. She had some potty issues on the front end. She had some barking issues. She got through those within about 5 months because we were persistent and consistent on the training. Susie, man, if you are not training her, she is trying to train you, and it comes across very irritating. And you're just like, I hate it when I have that feeling that you're like, Susie, would you just give me a break? And she's like, I just need to be engaged, kind of a thing. So training helps those issues as well, where you're going to become more directly engaged with your dog. They're going to understand more of what you're all about, and you can now work with them on, sit, stay calm, just lay down already, kind of thing. Give me a break. So all good ways or reasons why you want to train your dog. So step one on training. So do you have that hyperactive dog? Hey, I can't even get my dog to stop moving, and you're trying to get me to, have him sit. How do you get to that point just where I can start to train?
Right.
A lot of dogs, you just have to get them out and do the training at any time. So if you have that hyperactive dog, get them out and throw the ball around. With Susie, we have this game that we play. I let her out, let both Callie, our dachshund, and Susie, our Maltese poodle, out to go potty outside. I go out with them, and I'm scooping the poop and all that kind of stuff. But Susie's watching me the whole time. She's getting her business done. She knows her, she's 6 years old now. She understands the pattern and all that kind of stuff, but she's watching. And because as soon as I'm done with that task, I start chasing her around. And I know my neighbors go, oh, there's Goofy running around the yard again. And so I'm chasing her around, and we play this kind of Toro type thing where she'll run out and do a lap, a loop, and then run right at me, and then right last second, veer to the right or the left and try to dodge me and pass me. And I try to tag her when she does that. And so we go back and forth, and some days, man, she's like all 20 minutes, I'm out of breath because I'm trying to catch her and all that kind of stuff. And then other days she goes, nah, I'm fine, after, about 2 or 3 minutes. So I just kind of gauge it, by what she wants to do. What I'm trying to do is get that energy out of her so that when we get back in and work on a little bit of training, she's more relaxed and everything, and she can think through it. She's not got all this energy built up. So step one, make sure the energy is kind of drained out of your dog so that you have a nice, relaxed person. I was just talking to a family that has a child with like the ADD, and I will not say I'm an expert in any way, shape, or form. I've never experienced it.
Right.
But I asked him, because we do this with dogs, I said, does that work with your son? And he said, oh, heck yeah. He goes, that's what we do before we send him off to school. We run him around,
get him tired,
and get him tired out, so that when he at least gets to school, he's got a little more relaxed. And so then we, they get him out for recess and run him out again and all that. It's probably not. It's recess. Yeah. We think, it's just a time for the kids to get out. I think the teacher said, I have had it with these kids. They're just jumping out of their seats. Let them run.
Yeah. There's no doubt. And you can tell, my mom was a teacher her whole life, her whole career. My sister's a teacher, and you can tell when the kids have been cooped up too long, like, teaching at that point is ineffective because they're just not paying attention. They're stir crazy. So that's why they get them out, run them wild, and then they come back in and calm down. So, yeah, it makes sense though.
So
tire out your dog,
tire them out and get that all out. And then now you can, get some good training in. Now it's also determining what's the thing that's irritating you most. If you have an older dog and you're at that point, or if you're a younger dog, kind of a thing. What is it that you want to do? Let's take things one at a time. When people come into our store and they're literally pulling at their hair and saying, I just have had it. I just don't know what to do. I always go, what's the most irritating thing that your dog's doing? So that we can try right away. And then next week, come back and talk with us again. Now, what's your next one? We're going to keep that first thing going, but we're going to work on the next thing. For Susie, the most irritating thing was just when I woke up in the morning and I was feeding them, both Callie and Susie and our cat Gilbert. Susie was so hyper, even after running around, that she would spill the water dishes. She would tip over the bowls. I mean, she was that maniac thing where she was just jumping all over the place. So with Susie, I literally taught her to first stay in her kennel. So, and you got to break everything down into small parts and let them understand, good behaviors, bad behaviors. You show good behaviors by treats, good dog, and some scratching around the face. You can show bad behaviors, or you can deter behaviors by what we call the rollover and no kind of a phrase while the dog is rolled over. So there's ways to do that kind of a thing. And with Susie, what was working for her was I was working on the stay, and we'll go through, how do you do the stay and all that kind of stuff. But I literally had her stay in her kennel while Callie finished her meal. Talk about restraint and learning and all that kind of stuff. And if she got out of her kennel and started creeping towards the door, and this is more advanced, so she got it. At first, I had to close the door. I just closed the door and said, stay, close the door. Susie stayed in her kennel. Callie ate, got it done. Then I came over and I said, okay, Susie, we worked on sit and all that kind of stuff. But then until she settled down, I wouldn't open the door. And then when she settled down, then I opened the door. I still say stay and all that kind of stuff. And then when she settled down, I said, all right, come. And then she came and ate her food. So I was using the training in that way to prevent the mayhem in the laundry. So the sit command is really easy because in all these things, you're going to use some natural behaviors that your dog does, and you're just going to work with them on it. So we know that food is their number one motivator. That's a way to show them, good dog, I love what you're doing right now. And by giving them a little bit of food right there, they're gonna say, oh, I get it. Okay, when I do this, I'm gonna get that food, and that's a good thing. And you're gonna do it multiple times. And I'm talking, for some dogs it's 10 times, for some dogs it's 50 times, and over 50 days, kind of a thing. So be patient, be consistent, but then frequency plays the biggest role, because they can't speak our language and we can't speak their language, and you only can do it by giving them positive reinforcement to that, and food is that number one motivator. So sit, just picture a dog. You have a treat in your hand, and literally all you have to do is a taste. You don't actually need to fill them up with food or anything, to get them to understand what you're trying to do.
Maybe a lickety stick.
I was going to say, we even have a product that just gives them a taste called Lickety Stick, and it's a wonderful product because it's sealable. You can carry it in your pocket, and you've got almost an endless supply in your pocket for training if you're going for a long walk. So the dog is looking at you. Notice how when you're standing up, the dog is looking up at you. Their head is tilted up. That's important for the sit command, because you're going to put the treat with the dog's nose up in the air like that. Put the dog really, put the treat in between your fingers so that they cannot get it. They can smell it. They may be able to lick a little bit of it and get that, oh, I really want it. Now, with their head up in the air, I want you to push your hand forward so that you come in contact with their nose. Remember, the head is up right now. So the head is up, your hand is now licking and licking. Now I want you to push back, literally, so that they have to walk backwards. And so what you want them, most dogs, and I'm going to say, 60% of the dogs. So you might have that 40%. I'll tell you what to do in that case. Most dogs will automatically put their rear end down when you do that. They'll take a couple steps back, and then they'll put their rear end down. I think it's almost like I'm not going to move anymore. I'm going to let you push all you want because I want that treat. And so now you release your fingers, let them have the treat, and in the same moment say sit. And so now they understand the posture that they're in. They get a treat, and you just said sit. So the first time, they have zero idea what just happened.
Right.
All I know is I am eating a treat and life is beautiful. So the second time you do it, they still have no idea what you're trying to do. All I know is that I'm eating a treat and life is beautiful. But over time, they start understanding that, oh, wait, my bottom is down on the floor. They say sit, and hey, I got a treat. Yeah. Holy cow, this is amazing. How does this happen?
Makes sense.
And so over time, they'll understand the pattern that you just did. They get the treat. And for those 40% that don't sit down, I just lightly push their rear end down. As I'm pushing them backwards, I reach over and I just push their rear end down. It's usually pretty easy to get it to go down at that point because it's a natural tendency for them to do it anyways. You put it down, and then as you're pushing them down, you go sit, and then release the treat. And again, the treat can just be a crumble. I use soft treats. We have these treats called Little Gimmies. They seem to be like the dog's best friend. They all love it. And I break a tiny little nugget into 4, and I'm talking little bits here then. And I just give them that little bit because I want them to eat it and be done with it right away so I can do it again. And so again, put it towards their nose with their head up, push backwards until their rear end sits. If it doesn't sit, push the rear end. Once they get that rear end down, you say sit, release the treat, and now you have started the process of teaching your dog how to sit. It could take 4 times and they start really getting it. Could take 10 times. It could take 50 times. Obviously, the 50 is more frustrating, but stick with it because your dog will learn it. Some advantages to teaching your dog how to sit. is just like what I told, told you about with Susie, where she was just crazy all over the place. So now, even to this day, when she's 6 years old, she's not as crazy, but she gets some energy going. And so when we're trying to put the collar on her, or if we're just trying to pick her up for whatever reason, I go, Susie, sit. And if I go, Susie, sit, and kind of just do that light thing, she just totally ignores me. But if I just go a nice firm Susie, sit, and it's a nice firm voice, she sits right away. And if you're in our family, you'll notice that when I say you do it much, much, much better than the rest of the family. And that was because I was the one that trained her to do that the most. If you get the whole family doing the training, then your dog will be more obedient, or doing the commands and the tricks and all that kind of stuff for the entire family. And that usually then translates to other people. So friends that come over will be able to do it and have fun with it as well. That is, I had kids would come over to play at our house. I had them do a lot of the training on our dogs. I go, hey, you guys want to train the dog? Yeah, I want to train the dog.
It's a good way to get kids involved with it. I like it.
And you know what's nice about it is they only did it for about 5 to 10 minutes max, and then they were kind of like through. Guess what the attention span of your dog is? It's about 5 to 10 minutes. They get frustrated as well with training, just like a kid would with schooling. And now they just want to go out and play, take a break, kind of thing. Maybe come back to it in a half an hour. That's fine. But when you find that your dog is getting frustrated and he was listening before, now he's not listening, frustrated. And if you're getting frustrated, obviously you are, hey, take a break and come back to it in a half an hour or tomorrow. It's fine, to stop at that point. Don't think that you're going to be doing this for 30 minutes right off the bat with your dog. So that's the sit command for your dog. What automatically then comes, you can start working on stay. And the way you do stay is by first being right in front of your dog so that they don't have the desire to come towards you. So you have, again, a treat. And they're right in front of you, and so they're not going to come to you at all. So I always then start with the sit command and say sit, and so they sit down. I go, okay, stay, and I take a baby step back. And if they stay and they don't move, I go, good dog, and I give them the treat. So now it's just lengthening that process over and over again. So you, instead of a baby step, you take 2 baby steps, and then 3 baby steps, and then 1 big step to do that. If they just come to you, they don't get the treat, and you just start all over again. So they'll understand the pattern is if he says stay, you don't get a treat or anything. In fact, they only get the treat if you come back to them and say, good dog. So they stayed, they didn't move. So that's the stay command. And again, start really close to them and lengthen it out. And then if they do stay, come back to them and say, good dog, and give them the treat. So now you got stay figured out. So sit, and they go down, stay, don't give them the treat until they stay, and you come back to them. Now you want to work on come. So it's kind of like the release, or so everybody has different words for these. Hey, if you are a family that likes to do wacky things, don't use the words that I'm using right now. Use just crazy words and have fun with it. That's a fun thing for a family to do. Our police dogs, we know that they use a different language for their dogs. They have different reasons. There's nothing magic about the words or stay or anything like that. And so now come is a natural progression to everything that we just did. So sit, and then stay, and again, start really close to them, and now introduce the new word come, and that's the release, so that they can come to you. And when they come directly to you, they get a treat, and that reinforces the word come. So again, sit, stay, now walk a little further back, maybe even pause for a little bit, and then come. And now they come. If you get really good at this over time, this is not something that happens in a day or a week. You can go around a corner and they got to stay. My dogs both, this is over time. This was probably 6 months into it. I have them when they come into the house, they get their paws wiped. And sometimes I don't have the paw wipe stuff there, So they come into the door, they actually just sit. I don't even say sit. And what they're not used to if I don't have the wipe is that I have to get them to stay. I go, stay. And I walk out of that room through 2 other rooms into a laundry room, grab the wipe or the towel or whatever it is, come back, and they will still be sitting there because we worked on this. And so now they didn't track their paws throughout the house or anything. So that's how powerful this could be for you. If you're like our family where we like to keep a clean house, hey, that was a nice trick to do there. So sit, stay, come. We just went through all of those, and it's over time how you do that. And you can then think of other things to get into. We did rollover. We did play dead. Oh, those things are hilarious. Where you go bang, and dogs will roll over, and their legs will be sticking straight up, and then you give them the treat kind of a thing. Oh, it's just hilarious. Once you start down this path, you'll start to understand how to relate with your dog better.
It's a lot of possibilities. And
Yeah.
you can actually, once they start figuring out, they'll probably start realizing that they're being. So good deal. A lot on training, actually. That's good information from Ron. And one last thing we're going to squeeze in is Canidae. So you got to tell us about the food this week.
So Canidae has been around for a while, and it's a really high quality, good program to put your dog on. So if you're looking for something to get into, Canidae is a food that we have in our store, Petland, Iowa City, that you might want to try. So we like to use Dog Food Advisor here, and I'd welcome you into it. When I read these, I am coming at it with a lot of knowledge of dog food. I've not only been in the industry, I've been through dog food manufacturing plants. I've talked with the scientists that develop the dog food, worked with the AFCO and other standards that are out there that they have to abide by. So I understand even the loopholes that the dog food manufacturers work with to get things by so that it looks really good, but hey, it's actually not as good. Canidae is one of those really good manufacturers that do the right thing. Puts them at a 3.5 stars out of 5, which is a high quality dog food. And just looking at their top, if we just looked at what the top 5 ingredients, you can see why. The first ingredient is chicken meal. That's meat concentrate. I just found that word, and I like that word because it really sends the right message. When you hear chicken meal, and some people would be squeamish, I don't know what that meal means. Meal just means that it's concentrate, which means it was cooked. That's all it means, is that it was cooked. And if it says chicken meal, that's talking about the muscle and the skin of the in this case, the chicken. That's all good high nutrients for the dog. So first ingredients is chicken meal, and that it means it's meat concentrate. Compare chicken meal to fresh chicken. Chicken meal is 300% more protein than if it was just fresh chicken. So that is a huge quality if you see chicken meal. Fresh. So that's number 1 ingredient. Second ingredient, turkey meal. That means that this thing is highest in concentration of these now 2 high protein products. And we know that dogs do have a high protein diet, but we also know that they do eat grains and all that naturally as well. So chicken meal, turkey meal. Now the next one, lamb meal, which is another meat concentrate, high protein. So we have the first 3 ingredients. I do not see this in many foods where the top 3 ingredients are meat concentrates. So that's a really nice thing to have for your dog, to have not only that protein source, but you have a variety, chicken, turkey, lamb, just like we do even in a day, we're eating a variety of protein sources. This is a way to get your dog that variety all in one. Then comes brown rice. If you're why dogs eating rice? They have found that dogs actually digest rice even better than they digest grains. Grains are fine and better. And we know that brown rice is a nice, great carbohydrate for the dog. And then the 5th ingredient is white rice. tell you the truth, I don't know why they would put white rice after brown rice, because, isn't brown rice the whole grain and it's, not bleached, and then they go ahead and put in white rice. Not quite sure why they did that, but we also know that white rice is still a really good form of carbohydrate. The 6th ingredient, rice bran, so another carbohydrate. So it's a good mix of products for your dog that are healthy for your dog. And what you will find with Canidae and all those higher quality foods that are out there, you're going to find, hey, I had to pay more for this dog food, but you're also going to find you're going to feed half as much. The cost of that food is actually a wash. Now you're going to be, though, feeding your dog a good quality food. It's going to have supplements that we didn't even get into on this one, but they're going to do healthier skin and coats. They're going to be healthier liver function, heart function type things. And you're going to feed less, which means you're going to pick up less. They're going to poop less.
Less poop.
And you're not going to have to pick up as much, which is always a nice thing for us dog owners.
Yeah.
So that is Canidae.
Good deal. And that's the Pet Show. We're out of time. It's been a lot of fun as always, Ron. I always like catching up with you, finding out what's happening in the world of pets, and a good show again today. So thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you next time around. All right, as we go to sign off here, tell us about your show or your store.
We're Petland of Iowa City, located across from the Sycamore Mall, or that new Lucky's Market that is over in Sycamore Mall, now known as Marketplace. Our hours of operation today, Sunday, we're open at noon. We close at 6. And then all other days, we're open from 10 a.m. until 9 p.m. $5 nail trims. Come on in. No appointments necessary. We'll get your furry friend all trimmed up. All of our dog and cat food is on a buy 10, get 1 free. We talked about that training at Sunday mornings at 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
If you're at church or going to church and that's not a convenient time, just come on in and ask us questions, and we'll work with you on it. Well, just to give you some more ideas on how to train your dog.
All right, very good. That's Ron Salzer with Petland of Iowa City. I'm Jay Capron. Have a great day. Bye.
Sorry made his first